Hello, and welcome to WorkSchedule.net tutorial for users. In this tutorial, we will go over the main features and modules that your organization might use. Please note, these features that I will go over today are solely determined by the administrators in your organization, so you may not have access to some of these features. Please check with your manager or administrator to determine if these features will be used in your organization. To use version 9, your administrator or manager will first need to send you an invitation link directly to your email. This email is titled WorkSchedule.net Account Registration. Once you have received the link via email, you will simply follow the 3-step wizard in setting up your account. Users are now in full control of the user ID and password. Please note, your password must meet the minimum requirements. Minimum of 8 total characters that include at least one uppercase letter, at least one lowercase letter, at least one number, and at least one special character. Once your account has been set up, take a moment to notice the changes in our interface. The application toolbar at the top will help you navigate the features. When you click on the user icon in the top right, you can now access our new Help knowledge base by clicking on the word Help. In this knowledge base, you can search keywords or features for full walkthrough descriptions that include images. Going back to the user icon, click Profile Settings. Here, you can change your username, your password, and your email address at any time. You can also define your notification settings by choosing how you receive notifications and which notifications you'd like to receive in the Contact Settings tab. You can now receive notifications to the internal inbox located here, directly to your email address on file, and/or by receiving SMS notifications. Your administrator needs to turn on the SMS feature in order for you to choose this option. Users have the ability to also integrate WorkSchedule.net schedules into your personal calendar by using the iCal feature. Please check your calendar vendor walkthroughs to implement this feature. After you have initially signed into WorkSchedule.net, you can set up either single sign-on using your Microsoft or Google account, or simply set up your computer as a trusted device. The biggest change in WorkSchedule.net is the schedule. To get to Schedule, click Schedule on the application toolbar. On this screen, you will be able to see the time blocks that you are scheduled to work. If you do not see any time blocks, that means you are either not yet scheduled or the manager has not yet posted the schedule. Navigating the schedule page has changed from version 8. The calendar icon is our new date picker. In version 9, you are no longer restricted to a 6-month jump. Now you can click the arrows to select the date to jump to. To exit the date picker, click the calendar icon again. We have also introduced the action menu. Click the 3 lines next to the calendar icon to open the action menu. Here, you can export the schedule to PDF or Excel, and also change the color scheme. In version 9, we have introduced the Color by Employee color scheme. Moving over to the right side of the screen, if you hover over our new clipboard icon, you can see which departments have been posted. This is separated by assigned time blocks and open time blocks. In version 9, you can also view multiple weeks. In fact, you can view up to 53 full weeks at a time. If you are viewing multiple weeks, a scroll bar will appear at the bottom for you to seamlessly scroll. Just like version 8, you have the ability to sort the schedule using the Sort feature. The biggest change on the schedule page is the filter options. WorkSchedule.net will not automatically display everyone's schedule, nor will it automatically display the open time blocks. To display everyone's schedule and the open time blocks, click Everyone's Schedule, and also click Show Open Time Blocks. To apply the filter, click the checkmark button. This will now display everyone's schedule and the open time blocks if the administrator has allowed for this feature. If your organization allows you to sign up or swap shifts, select the time block or time blocks by either holding down your mouse and dragging over the time blocks to select, or by clicking the time block, holding down the Control button on your keyboard, and as you hold down the Control button, continue to select additional time blocks. After the time blocks have been selected, right-click and select Start and Add to Sign Up Request. This will now display your current sign-up request. Click Send Request, and you will see a green box appear in the top right corner of the screen, indicating the schedule change request has been sent. To start the swap request, click the time block or time blocks you are currently scheduled for. Right-click and select Start and Add to Swap Request. Here, you will be assigning the request assignment to. You have the option to send the request to anyone that is qualified for this time block, or you can select the individual user that is also qualified for the time block. If you send the request to John Smith will receive a notification on the home screen of WorkSchedule.net indicating the schedule change request. If you send the request to anyone, all users that are qualified for that time block will also receive that same notification banner on the home screen of WorkSchedule.net. Click Send Request. A red box will appear indicating that John cannot swap. Let's switch to Bob Smith. Click Send Request. After submitting the swap request, you'll receive a notification if a user has agreed to the swap. Your administrator may require a manager approval on sign-up or swaps before they are allowed to take effect. Attendance in version 9 has minimal changes. To get to attendance, click Attendance on the application toolbar. Depending on your organization, if you have the ability to clock in and clock out, WorkSchedule.net will display the clock in screen. Simply click Clock In to begin your shift, and click Clock Out to end your shift. You can view and modify attendance by clicking the View Modify Attendance tab on the left panel. Click this and it will look similar to the schedule page. This screen will display your attendance time blocks. If your administrator allows for you to modify your attendance time blocks, click on the time block and edit the properties. Once the time block has been edited, click Update. This will wrap up attendance in version 9. In this video, we will discuss availability. To get to availability in version 9, click Manage Availability. We've completely overhauled the availability feature in version 9. We've simplified it, allowing users to provide their availability and create availability time blocks that recur on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis using recurrence, like a standard online calendar. Users will no longer need to be concerned with the complications of understanding the concept of overriding weeks versus normal weeks. In addition, each employee can individually choose whether to tell the system when they are available or alternatively when they are not available. It's no longer one choice for the whole organization. This is an Outlook-like calendar that allows employees to define available or unavailable times. I can easily tell how the employee has defined their availability by the unmarked space. If the unmarked space is declared as unavailable, the empty space on the calendar will be pink. This means the employee will be unavailable at any time where unmarked space is pink. If the unmarked space is declared as available, the color of the empty space on the calendar will be green unless the employee creates an unavailable space. To define any time as available or unavailable, simply right-click on the day that is being defined. Click New Availability. On this screen, I can choose if I am declaring this occurrence as available or unavailable. I can select the date or dates, and I can choose the time frame. I can also choose if this will become a recurring series. If the recurrence is selected as weekly, users then have the ability to repeat this occurrence on multiple days of the week. Finally, users can decide when the recurrence will end. Click Save, and the new availability blocks will appear. In this video, we will be requesting time off as the employee. This account belongs to Bob Smith, the employee. To request time off, click Time Off, then My Time Off. This screen shows any potential pending time off requests submitted as an employee. This screen also helps employees keep track of how much time off they have used and how much time off they have left to use. To request time off, click the Start New Request button. Each block on this screen represents one full day of time off. This is based on the time off settings the administrator set in place under Company Settings. To request one day, click the calendar icon and make the selections. To request multiple days, there are two options. First, click Add Day. This will require the user to re-enter all the information for another day. To make it easier, click Duplicate. This will easily duplicate the details from this time block into the range of time selected. This saves the user time and minimizes the margin of error. The user can write details of the time off request in the Notes section for the managers to see. Click Submit and review the confirmation screen. Once confirmed, the My Time Off page will now display the pending time off request. To view time off, click Time Off, My Time Off Calendar. Using the calendar icon, you can view any future approved time off, and if your organization has it set up, you can filter to view everyone's approved time off. WorkSchedule.net has introduced cancellation of approved time off. Go to Time Off, My Time Off, select the dates to cancel, then click Cancel Selected Requests. The manager will then receive a notification and will need to approve the cancellation request. This will credit the time off days back into the employee's account.